So, hi, I'm Caroline. I am your resident trucking business professor here at the Bobtail Help Desk. I call myself that because I do research all day long about the trucking industry, and that is to share it with you for free on our blog, on our YouTube channel, and in our Facebook group. I hope that you will go there and learn more about the trucking industry and how to better run your business. Bobtail is a financial services company for the trucking industry. We have a factoring service and a fleet card. If you're interested in that, check out bobtail.com. Like I said, we have a YouTube channel. I hope you will subscribe to it and watch our videos. We've got all kinds of videos about getting started in the trucking industry, freight market updates. I've just done a whole review of freight market indicators happening in the market now and what's coming in 2024. So we'll be publishing that in the next week or so. And I hope you will also check out our blog at bobtail.com that has articles on all of those topics as well, and join our Facebook group, the Bobtail Help Desk. You can find that. It's free to join, and you can always put in all of your questions. We do a question and answer daily. And if you have questions that you want us to answer, you can always message us, write to us at hello@bobtail.com, or just post it in the group, and we will answer it for you. So I want to give a very, very warm welcome to our guests today on the call, Igor Mira, who is the product owner at TruckerCalculator, and Jose Lozano with MKE Logistics Services. They are going to help us understand how to calculate cost per mile and talk through some other important financial metrics for trucking businesses. So, Igor, can you help us understand a little bit about the story behind TruckerCalculator, how it came about, why did you create it, and what are we going to learn about today?
Hello, Caroline, and thank you for the introduction. And I am very glad to see you all here. So the story of the calculator started about 2 years ago, I believe. Like the reason why we started on thinking of something like that is that many our partner carriers, they had a lot of problems with their financial health of their trucking businesses. You see, our company, like you see probably the company name on my t-shirt, like the Trucking 42, we are providing a lot of services to small and medium-sized carriers. And it's not like just dispatching, it's also financial management, it's also fleet management, it's safety, and all kinds of the support. And it happens so that many small and medium-sized fleet owners, they aren't really businessmen. They used to be truck drivers. They are very hardworking people, and we enjoy working with them. But the problem is that they didn't really do any calculations for their companies. They didn't set any targets, and it was something that was acceptable before the crisis started, but when the coronavirus started and the years after that, like even up till now, like it's getting worse and worse, and we're not in the situation where we can just avoid financial management of a trucking company. So we started doing calculations for our partner carriers a couple of years ago, just in Google Sheets, and it helped to people that really wanted to change something in their business. So what we basically had been doing, like we calculated the cost per mile for each truck, and then for the company in general, to learn how much the company needs to make gross at least to stay profitable and to survive. And this allowed to adjust some expenses, to implement some new strategies, and people who really were ready to do changes in their trucking companies, to make decisions based on the numbers of their trucking companies, they are with us still, like till nowadays. And unfortunately, there always are people that aren't willing to change, and those people unfortunately, they aren't with us anymore, and some of them, a lot of them, they went bankrupt just because they hope to still somehow make money, but without knowledge, like you cannot do it. Being blind is not something that anyone can allow nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I think what then evolved from a Google sheet turned into
Yeah,
an entire
so we
platform.
started,
Is that right?
yeah, so it first was something for internal purposes, and we didn't plan, in the beginning, we didn't plan to develop a website, but we found an investor. We liked the idea, like the whole thing that it helped to people that really wanted to grow. It provided us the understanding that maybe that's something that anyone needs right now. And we started a startup, basically the Trucker Calculator. And I've been developing this project for more than a year now, and it is showing some really good results. And more than 1,000 small and medium fleet owners are using it right now. And it really helps people. Like, it is fairly simple. The whole idea of calculating the cost per mile is simple because it's a bottom line for trucking, and the formula itself is not that hard to understand, but the main problem is that it requires consistency and dedication. So I mean, it's something that is definitely required for a trucking company because it's a way to manage your financial health of the company, but it's still something that some people don't really want to do. A good thing is that Trucker Calculator, to my knowledge, now is the best way to do that task because it's still like it. You need to do it anyway if you're running a trucking company, either on paper or in Google Sheets. But the project that I have developed, the website that my team and I have developed, I truly believe it is the best and easiest way to do that financial management for a trucking company.
Well, you're a little biased, but I'm not, and I agree. I actually think, particularly for owner operators and small fleets, it's an excellent platform. And I don't know if we mentioned this. The best part about it, it costs $0 and 0 cents to use to get started using it. So that's easy enough. There's really no reason not to use it. It's a lot easier than trying to make your own spreadsheet. So why not, right? And so we also have, like I mentioned, Jose is on the call with us to share his financial details. And so we're going to go through and use the Trucker Calculator and see it in action. And if you are at home on a laptop or a desktop, or you have that available to you, even if you are on your phone and you're able to navigate over to truckercalculator.com, I highly recommend that you actually open it up and use it during this session, because we are going to give some time for questions that you might have about it. And Igor is here to help with any questions that you might have. And if you are watching the recording of this, please send any of your questions to Igor either through that little chat window in the Trucker Calculator or to us at Bobtail, hello@bobtail.com. Either way, if you have any questions, you can send them there as well. So with that being said, I'm going to hand over the screen and the proverbial mic to Igor. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can go ahead and share yours. And if you could first just tell us how to get started and create an account.
Yeah.
Then we can get into how we might go about entering in all of our data and finding those financial metrics.
We'll do that, but before that, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to talk about the cost per mile in general, because I mean, it is the main thing of getting to use the software is the understanding of importance itself, of doing those calculations consistently. Because trust me, the main problem of people which are using my website is not that it is hard to use, but that it requires consistency. And the problem that it is a problem for many people is just because they don't understand how important it is. So I wanted to talk about why do we even want to discuss the cost per mile. And it's that it can help you to understand how your trucking business is doing, and it can help to make it better, because we all want to cut our costs while making more money, but sometimes it's not something we can do. So we will talk about the importance of cost per mile, how it can help you to monitor your business, and how it can reduce your costs. It can help reduce your costs, and how it can help you to determine your targets for your dispatchers, because it's one of the main points why you even should know your cost per mile.
And I'm sure
So,
if there's a dispatcher service, I know Rachel is here, and obviously from Trucking 42, I'm sure that's one of the first questions that you ask a carrier when you are starting to work with them. Like, all right, cool. What are your goals? How much money do you want to make? What are the routes you want to do? Okay, based on that, this, and that. All right, now I know how to book you loads, right?
recently we had a story, a very funny story about that. Honestly, my teammate, Caroline, you already know about the story. I think I told you about it, but my teammate, like the head of dispatch department, Alex, he received a call from one of the potential partners. So one of the owners that already is with us, he recommended our services to one of his friends, and this guy just recently bought 2 trucks right away. He invested $500,000 in trucking, so he bought his two new trucks. He bought dry vans. Not sure why dry vans, because it's you know, right? They're not doing well, right? But that's what he did. And before we like closed him on everything, on full service and all that stuff, Alex just wanted to be honest with him and to set the expectations, because like he said, hey man, I really want to be, I'm very happy you want to use our service, but let's start with setting the targets and setting your expectations so nobody gets upset. We have a software, like he was doing this presentation in TruckerCalculator in my website, and they made this calculation. So it turned out that in I believe 5 years he won't get his money back. It was like approximate net income he would get from 2 trucks was about $7,000 a month, in the best terms, in the best conditions. But in reality, it probably would be even smaller. So the guy was really upset, and he just hanged up, because he didn't want to understand the reality and to get that he won't be really making money in this business right now.
Right.
So
I would hate to be that guy, and I'm sure that there's probably no one on this call in that situation, or I hope there's not. But I would say, even if you're not using a dispatch service, it's if you're dispatching yourself, it's equally as important to understand this, really for any business, right? But in trucking, particularly, because we always talk about rate per mile, right? Rate per mile, rate per mile. I want better rates. I want better rates. We want better rates. But what does better rates mean? I think a lot of people don't really maybe even understand what a better rate means. It doesn't mean just higher, 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 and higher. It means, okay, this is my cost, and my rate per mile minus my cost per mile is going to be my profit per mile. Like you said, a very simple concept to understand, but not a simple one to implement consistently over a long period of time. Right.
I suppose so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Igor, you want to? Absolutely. And, you know, like, it's easy for me to say, well, you should wake up at 5 a.m. every day. It's another thing to actually wake up at 5 a.m. every day for the rest of your life.
That's
I have yet
something really hard.
That. I'm sure I'm alone in that on this call, because I know trucking business owners are up early in the morning. But yeah, it is. It's all about consistency. So, Igor, do you think we're ready to learn how to create an account on your platform and get started with that all-important calculation?
Let's get started with that.
Let's do it. And again, I really encourage everyone, if you are able to access a laptop or a desktop, I believe they can also access this on a phone, right? Just in a browser. Is that right,
That's
Igor?
right, but like it is not meant to be used from the mobile phone, but you can do that for sure. It's just for consistent work, better do that on your laptop. That would be the
Sure.
best way to go.
All right, so we're going to go to TruckerCalculator.com.
Okay. Let me open it into private window just for not having
Yeah, so that
all
we
kinds
get
of
it.
different windows. Yeah.
It looks like
Well,
there's a little bit of an onboarding thing that you get. So there is like a little tour that you can take in Trucker Calculator that's very helpful. It was very helpful to me the first time I was doing this. And it gives you a little bit of default information as well. And also there you get I just saw that today. It's a nice little video of Igor talking about how important it is to calculate your cost per mile. So when we get in here, how do we, you can actually start using the calculator right away, but I think the best practice is probably to create an account. Is that right?
so yeah, there are two options. You can use the calculator without registration, without like having the account, and you can just calculate what you need, save a PDF file, and that's it. But if you want to do it consistently, the best and the easiest and the most comfortable way to go would be to create an account, because it allows to do weekly or monthly calculations right here, and to have all the data brought into statistics, so you could review it by all the metrics you might want to see in trucking. So for creating a new account, that's something really easy. You just press a button, sign up, and you have an option to sign up with Google. It would take like 2 seconds to do it. So really something not hard to do. I won't be creating a new account right now. I mean, I will just enter the one I already have, because I have some data here. But once you create the account, you will not have any trucks over here, and you will just need to create new truck here. We call it not the truck, but the units, because we see it the way like it's not just the truck which generates money to you, it's the combination of the truck driver, of a trailer you have, and of the truck itself. So some very important details that in the end result the net profit you get. So
So I think actually this is a really good moment to introduce again Jose Lozano, who is here with us from MKE Logistics Services, because we're going to learn a little bit more about his business. So Jose, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your company and how you got into trucking?
Okay. Hello? You hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right. I just literally made it to the Starbucks. I want to sit down and relax and have a nice conversation today.
Fabulous.
So this started back in 2 years ago. Not restaurant, excuse me. Trucking industry. It took me about a year before I really started doing this. It was kind of like I wanted to make sure exactly what I wanted to do and kind of learn and go over and over and over. So some kind of ask questions people that were in this industry, but I was able to learn and I guess step in the right foot. One of the first things that I did was basically looking for a factoring company that's going to help you. It's not going to take your money. And I was so happy when I got Bobtail. I got in touch with them, and ever since day one, they've been a great people for me. I only have one truck. I do power only, and my goal is to add another truck next year, and basically start slowly, but kind of like carefully in the meantime. So
Fantastic.
I
So
was,
what should
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was in a restaurant business for almost half of my life. Ever since I was 19, started doing a restaurant business to 1889 through 2015. That's when I stopped working in restaurants. And after that, I started some transportation. I did Amazon, Uber, and then after that, jump into the trucking.
Excellent. So if you are going to give your power only unit a name, do you have a name for your truck? I'm so curious.
Yeah, tinieblas.
Tinieblas. That's
I got
awesome.
one. You know what's funny though? One of the person that I met in trucking might have been my second month. He's a truck driver for his almost half of his life. He's Mexican too, and he has two trucks. One of the trucks he called Santos. Santos was one of the mostly Mexican wrestling ever in Mexico, famous guy. And that's how he kind of like, he's like, I call my truck Santos, you should call Tinieblas. So my buddy got another truck, he called it Black Panther.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
just
Yep. It means
how,
darkness, and it's the name of a
right,
of a famous luchador, right? In Mexico.
exactly.
Yeah.
Luchadores mexicanos famosísimos.
I put it in the chat
Well,
there.
I'll give it that name.
You
Yeah,
did
Yeah,
it?
I see it here.
Yep.
Sorry, guys, I
Perfect.
don't speak Spanish. I speak Romanian, though. So
There you go.
It's probably pretty close, right?
No.
not that close. It's more close to
Romania,
Italian.
Russian.
Italian.
What don't you guys more like Russian, Polish, something
Nah,
like
No,
that? No?
it's a
no,
Romance link.
these are
Yeah.
two different groups of languages. So
Oh,
basically,
okay.
it's more close to Latin than to
Yeah.
any of Slavic
Oh.
languages.
Oh, okay.
So we've got Tinieblas with MKE Logistics. Is that right, Jose?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
So we can say
Okay,
in the
let's just
name. Yeah, MKE.
MKE Logistics.
MKE Logistics. I live in Austin right now, but I started my business back in 2017 trying to work for Amazon when they used to take almost any owner operator.
Hmm.
And then as soon as I set up my business, year later, they were like, you got to have at least 5 trucks. And I was like, no, I can't. So I stayed out of business. I did Uber. But you know what? The thing is, it was always bothering me being in the semi truck and driving myself and be my own boss. I was like, gotta get it done, man. I gotta get it done. And then finally, 2021, in the end of 21, beginning of 22, I was able to run my own business.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And it's power only, is that right?
It's powered only, exactly.
Oh, looks like I'm liking this option here.
There's some feedback for you. Look at that, Igor.
Yeah.
Product feedback free of charge.
For now I will make it specialized. It's not, of course, but we will add this feature. We also always try to, like, since it's a startup, sometimes it's okay to have things lacking, and we try to notice those things and to listen to our users. So make sure to check it out. Like within a week, we will have this option on our website.
Nice. So do we want to do weekly or monthly calculations? I'm curious, if you do a cost per mile calculation for your company and you're watching this event right now, let us know what you do. Do you do a weekly or a monthly calculation? I've seen it mainly with monthly, but what's the most common way that you've seen it done, Igor?
Look, the thing is that it's, again, we get back to the consistency and the laziness of the people. Maybe with people like owner operators, it's no way close about the laziness, but the lack of consistency is the problem. So most people, they prefer to do monthly calculations, but it is way better to do weekly calculations, simply because you will notice those problems sooner. So if, for example, something goes wrong with the fuel expense and the cost per mile goes way higher than it's supposed to, at the first week of the month, you will be able to notice the mistake and to fix it faster. So you will lose way less money. That's very simple logic. But again, it requires to do those calculations 4 or 5 times a month versus 1.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. I think if you are not used to doing this at all consistently, start with monthly. Monthly is better than nothing. That's your minimum.
That's for sure.
And then try to work up from there. So shall we do monthly then? Jose, I think those are the expenses that you had prepared, right?
So since this is monthly,
this is.
But I can break it down in weeks if that's what you want me to do.
No, not a problem. Like I can just switch to a monthly mode. You can do implementations in your unit, and I will quickly delete all the data I have here simply because it's the account I already have, and to just save users time, all the numbers from the previous session they copied over here. So I'm deleting all the numbers very quickly, and we will be able to add your numbers.
Excellent.
Okay, let's do it.
So starting with truck payment, Jose, tell us what truck do you have and how much do you pay for it each month?
I have a Volvo 2019. It cost me about $130,000, and I put so much money down that I kind of not lease it, but I made a deal for 3 years. My truck
Yes,
payments
I'm
are
sorry. Are we calculating November month right now? Like, do you have all the data for the month of November?
Yeah, I got the date from basically November through December. Okay, it's November 12, 13 to December, which was last week Monday, this Monday. Okay, so total monthly payment is $920. Again, this is paid off in 3 years only.
I'm sorry, monthly payment for the truck. Could you
Yes.
say the number again? Like $1,900?
$1,920. $1,920.
Got it.
And you don't have a trailer payment, obviously, because
No, I do not.
It's
but one of my friends has one, and if you want to do power only with the trailer, we can do it because we pretty much make about the same money a month, and he has a trailer.
I would believe we can just do it based on your numbers, Jose. But just know that if you do have a trailer payment, there's a default there for you.
Okay.
I'm curious about insurance. What are you paying in insurance? Because you're on year 3 right now, right?
Yeah, $1,850. And again, just because of the value of the truck.
Sure.
That's the thing. Is kind of like.
And have you had an opportunity to renegotiate or re-shop for insurance recently? Because you're coming up on year 3, right? This will be your 3.
Yeah, I'm about to start doing it. I got 2 companies. They're doing it. I got Progressive Insurance. The only thing that is okay with Progressive is they kind of help you in the beginning, but they keep the same prices. They don't drop nothing. They want the money because they know you can pay, right? So, but I got 2 different companies right now giving the different codes. We'll see which one is cheaper.
Yeah, that's something that that's a good rule of thumb that I remember Gervier telling us, and I think we'll do another session with him on that about how to reduce your cost of insurance over time. I mean, it is a long-term game, right? But every time a contract comes up, you should be shopping for insurance again.
Exactly. You got to do that. All right.
So do you use a dispatch service, Jose?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you're dispatching yourself?
Myself, yeah. But
and
they charge from 4 to 8%. Some people that I know they do charge either 4% up to 8%. And it's with only one truck, I don't recommend you having a dispatch because you only need one truck to move around. You got enough time to move around and look for loads. In my case, I mean, I don't want to throw anybody in the bus and I want to make people feel bad, but it's just the way I think. It's just me, okay?
Yeah,
Nobody else.
I do tend to agree with you, but I think Rachel, you might have another opinion on that. Just guessing, you might have a different perspective on that. And Veronica, working with our partners who are different. Although we are very about
but I can tell you something though. If you get more than 5 trucks, I will definitely get a dispatch.
Okay.
You gotta work only for me, nobody else. If you get 5 trucks in this business, a dispatch is gonna work for me, only for my business, not for somebody else.
With dispatch,
Yeah.
there is a problem that I mean, a good dispatch is even with one truck is better than not having a dispatch, a qualified dispatcher. But
Yeah.
regardless of number of trucks, a bad dispatcher can really just destroy your company, and that's something that happens to people. Like, because there are a lot of services, of bad services, which just do not even pay attention to what they're doing, and it's really easy to get a freight guard with that. So yeah, be very careful with dispatching, regardless of the number of trucks you have.
Same with
Yeah.
factoring. Be careful. Be careful.
Yes.
Factoring company.
Yeah. I've had a lot of drivers who weren't using factoring, and they had dispatchers that were just horrible. And
Yeah.
and you know, I always tell people, just trust me. Just give me 1 week. Just trust me. And they end up signing on with Bobtail for the factoring. And yeah, they have one truck, Jose. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I got you though.
Right,
No
yeah.
hard feelings, remember?
Yeah, so you are right. There are a lot of bad ones, and especially with the
Yeah.
brokering and the dispatching, a lot of people with no knowledge, they jump into it and you go downhill fast. So I understand
Yeah.
with that one.
For sure. I wonder if we can come back up to the top, Igor, and maybe fill up that top line first.
Yeah, of course. We won't get
I don't
the
don't
cost
wanna
per
keep
mile
seeing
without
these.
having some miles.
I know.
So let's
I don't
do
want to
that.
keep seeing these negative numbers. This is really hurting my heart right now. So
You know, the problem would be that the picture still, like, once we add the total gross, the net profit will not be complete before we have all of our expenses. What we're going to review right now is the number of our net profit decreasing while we have those expenses. That's also something we would not
true.
like to see, but that's
Fair.
the reality. Let's
Fair,
do it.
fair. All right.
So,
So what was
Jose,
your
please tell me, what was the total gross?
My total gross,
Yeah.
$29,803.
Okay. How many days did you work in November?
I work every single day except the Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh,
So that was, I mean, that's the problem.
this.
Basically, based in like almost what, 6 days and a half of work, and then you got your 34-hour reset. Get ready and roll it.
Hmm.
Not basically not stopping for 3 weeks and a half.
so how many days would you
So I stop
That's a
on,
while.
22?
on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday I stop on Wednesday. I went home. I stay home for the weekend. On Monday, get another load and go back to the road for 2 weeks and a half.
27 days.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
put that out to 27. So 30 days minus 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many miles did you make? Like, do you have the number of the
How many-
total miles?
Total mile. I got it. Let me see what I put a mile. Scroll down.
Yeah, here would be important to get like even not the loaded miles with the deadheads to get the correct cost per mile for our fuel expense. The best option would be to go for the miles from your odometer. Like, if you would be able to bring the stuff, that would be the best.
Okay. At about 13,500 miles. All loaded, unloaded. I just couldn't break it down because I use Motive, and they give all the miles that I run monthly basis.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the ELE.
Yeah, because
So
it's kinda, you have to go, but I
13,500.
mean, yes, 13,500 miles.
Okay.
It's like going to
Okay.
China, coming back in 1 day.
Okay. And also why I said that you always want to get those total miles, and I mentioned that not just loaded miles plus deadheads, but because if you have a larger fleet, this way and only this way you would be able to monitor those fuel costs per mile for each of your trucks, and you will be able to see if your drivers are not doing some extra miles while using your fuel card. That's something also good thing to
so you recommend
see.
to have like separate empty miles and load miles?
No, I recommend to have the number of total miles when you're doing your calculation. So
Okay.
to have the summary for
Right.
each of your trucks.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess we can get back to our expenses. You said you do not have the dispatch, so we can
No dispatch.
delete that expense. Safety.
I do about $150 per month.
Okay. And how much do you pay for Bobtail factoring?
Bobtail factoring took about $940, $949.
Okay. So, are you having a salary? I mean, you are owner operator, but to my knowledge, Caroline usually recommends to still have that driver salary even if you are owner operator.
Yeah.
Just yes.
I
So
put
are you doing that
$1,200 a week
a week?
for the family
Okay.
expenses.
So
Yep, that's
for
basically
November,
So 4,800.
4,800 total.
Mm-hmm. 4,800. It's not a percentage of gross, right?
No, I
So
just
it's-
take
yep,
$1,200 for me. Either make or not make money,
okay.
$1,200 gotta go to my bank.
So 4,800.
Exactly.
You are.
I mean, right, $4,800.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's something, and I think I want to take just a second to point that out. I know that there might be other people on the call who are also owner operators going, well, I don't have to pay a driver, so I can keep that blank. More money for me. Yes, of course, all of that. It means that everything you take home is going for yourself, and it's so important. Even if you just give yourself a very modest salary each month, it's important to put that in your calculation because this is the true cost of your time. Let's say you weren't working, you hired a driver, you want to know how much profit you would earn outside of that. And it also, if you don't have your salary in there when you're going and negotiating with brokers or customers, you will have a full picture of what it actually costs you, and make sure you're giving yourself what you need to cover your own expenses. Because if you're not even able to cover your own expenses, then there's really no point in continuing on, or you just really need to take a really quick, fast look and make some quick changes if you're not able to do that. So that's why I always recommend putting in your own driver salary, even if it is, maybe just $3,000. I mean, you can start really low just to cover your own personal expenses, and then go from there.
And you can see here we have a breakdown as well of how much amount is in the percentage of gross and in the cost per mile. So basically, it's 36 cents per mile. That is your driver salary you got for the November month.
Mhm. So I get myself 37 cents per mile, basically.
Yes. So I mean, of course, like since you're owner operator, you have more, but this
Right.
is the amount that you are putting away. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's average, I guess.
It's low. I mean,
It's
compared
low
to what?
for company driver, but
Right.
You got a
yeah,
company driver like
for
Snyder,
saving money, it's not bad.
Yeah.
but if you go to Snyder or some of those companies, that's what you get in 38, 40 cents per mile when you start.
Sure.
Yeah, sometimes
Starting.
yes.
I mean,
Starting.
exactly.
The average like
Starting.
is 65 cents per mile or so, I guess. At least from what I've seen, like 65 cents per mile.
That could be across all fleets, right? That could be counting private fleets. It might be counting people who have been in the business for decades. I mean, there is a pretty big stretch between, entry level position and most experienced, right?
That's right. And also, a thing that I've learned from working as a dispatcher, like I used to work as a dispatcher and as a manager well. So for a company owner, it is more efficient to pay driver salary not in the cent per mile, but rather percentage of gross, because this way driver will be more motivated to haul for money and not for miles. But that's just like a small tip that I can share.
That's usually what a leased owner operator will make, right? A percentage of gross.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get back to our expenses. I'm pretty sure you didn't have any deductions. I mean the
No
deductions
deduction.
that the company charged you. So speaking of the fuel expense, how much did you spend on fuel?
The fuel cost is spent $7,850.
Okay. And actually, that's a good result. You're probably using a fuel card, right?
No, I use a MATLAB.
Mm. That's a good
And
result.
all those miles mostly were running in Texas, Colorado, Oklahoma. The farthest that I get was Illinois, coming back to Texas, and basically, but mostly were like Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado.
Yeah, if you stay around those
And-
Gulf states, you're gonna get
And the
good
fuel,
prices.
I mean, diesel gallon is about $3.15 right now. Some areas. So you got to play with that too. If you're going out of the state, you got to fill the tanks before you leave the state. When you're coming back, do the same thing.
That's a good tip. Here, by the way, you can also calculate your miles per gallon if you know the numbers of the gallons you have, you made. But if you don't have, we will just pass this option right now.
The gallons, I got a 2,242 gallons.
2,242.
Yes, sir.
So it's 6 miles per gallon.
Yeah, average 6 empty. I mean, loaded is about 5.8. Unloaded is about 7 to 8, depends. But yeah, it's average. It's a good number, no? 6% is decent.
No, it's good. I would say a really good cost miles per gallon is between 7 and 8. But like you said, loaded is different than unloaded, and this is something where the weight of the load counts
Right.
a lot. That was something that surprised me that people don't talk about that a lot when you're talking about fuel economy. You don't really not a lot of people take into account that you have to see how much the load weighs, and that's going to reduce your fuel
A lot.
economy by a lot. We actually have a
lot.
blog about that and how to calculate that on our blog, so people can check that out. How about tolls? Do you have?
I got tolls. Yeah, I gotta pay those though. About $120 per month. And I don't go to Pennsylvania anymore.
Just 120
They
per
charge
month.
a lot. They charge a lot of lots of money. Pennsylvania Highway 80 or 70 all the way down to Chicago. It's about $140 one way. One way.
Wow.
So I don't go out there anymore.
Yeah.
Well, at least we got no loads going that way. So.
But for the month of November, did you say like $120 or?
Yeah, $120 a month in place.
I saw much higher tolls payments. I mean, I talked to our users, and the average monthly average paying on tolls would be, from what I saw, from 500 to 700 or $800 per month. I mean, maybe those guys are just doing something wrong, but that's
no, you're right though. If you rent like East Coast, they charge for every corner.
Yeah.
Chicago, Detroit.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that? Chicago, Indiana.
Detroit doesn't
Michigan.
have. Don't be mad at Matthew, Michigan. We don't have tolls.
You got no tolls in Michigan?
Yeah, it depends.
So they get you before you go to Indiana, right?
Yeah. The other
Right before you get into Michigan, you gotta pay.
Coming out of Michigan, those states around us, those are the mean ones.
Michigan and Wisconsin do not have a toll road. You're right. But Indy, Chicago, even Oklahoma and Kansas City, they're setting up the highway for toll roads. Can you imagine it though? Next thing you know, you gotta pay more money.
But still, there are some pros in that. I mean, you could. It all depends. You should do calculations again before making a
Right.
decision. Sometimes maybe it would be more beneficial for you to go with a toll road and not losing time and not going from mountains to, because if you go from mountains, in the end you will pay much more on fuel. So again, you should do calculations.
Right.
That's, I guess, that the main topic of today's meeting, and that's one of the main idea that should be in people's minds when we talk about trucking now, right? So okay. So Jose, could you please tell me, like, do you do regular maintenance for a truck? Like
Maintenance,
monthly
I
maintenance?
put
Yeah,
$450 every week for maintenance.
that's
Use it or
very good.
not, it goes
450
in.
every week. And
Yes.
yeah, that's even more that I recommend to people. I usually recommend to always have that $300 per week
Okay.
for the maintenance, and even like to put those money away anyway. If the breakdown happens, you will have some money saved for that.
Some savings.
But
Exactly.
450 is even better. So yeah, that's very good.
Well, and you have an older truck. If someone is running a brand new truck, then that's going to be different, right? You're not going to
Yeah,
have, you
of
might
course.
have to spend a ton on
Well,
maintenance. So
it's the same thing, because when you take an old truck to any shop, they give you a better deal. When you take a new truck, you got to take it to the big company, and they charge you though. They don't care about you. They just want their money. It's kind of
Don't
upside
we
down.
all?
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got 1,800 a
Mhm.
month there in maintenance.
Mhm.
'Cause you've got 450 there, Igor, and we're on monthly,
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
I
it.
just must be honest with you guys. It's almost 3 a.m. my local time where I am right now. I'm in Europe, so I might get slow sometimes.
Well, maybe next time we do opposite hours. Okay, we do your time,
No,
your day.
I don't want to see your suffering, guys. Really.
Well, we
Before it
appreciate
would
you
be
being here, so-
1,800, right? $1,800.
Yep.
Okay. You mentioned you have an ELD, and how much do you pay for that?
$80 a month. I got
That
camera.
should
I
be
got ELD. They
mhm,
do a lot of.
mhm.
They record
And that's
miles.
everything for the camera and for ELD.
Yeah.
For all the stuff, it's $80 for one. Okay.
Yep.
And how much do you pay monthly for IFTA, like approximately?
If there's about $100 a month.
Okay.
If you don't go to
And
New Mexico, New York,
mhm, mhm.
and
Okay.
Kentucky, those are separate states. You got to do separate IFTA for New York, Kentucky, and New Mexico.
And I think
We can do that. Like, do you want me right now? We can just
No,
we can just have a summary, or I can actually add rows for separate, like IFTA for separate states. That's also
you can
something
add
you
a
can do.
$20 extra per month. $20
Uh,
extra per month. That's the case.
Okay, let me just adjust it here. But in case, like, if you have any additional expenses, you see we don't have any pre-filled rows, but you can also always add a new
Okay.
row here. So if you have any other expenses, please share.
I had no
Okay.
extra expensive. I kind of break down everything, what I have, what I use.
I did, for those of you listening now, I just put a link in the chat to a blog about IFTA. So if you're newer to the industry or just getting in, I just did see someone who joined us who I know is going to be new to the industry next year. So if you heard IFTA and you don't know what that means, there's a blog in the chat for you.
Okay. So having all of those, all of these numbers here, we can definitely tell that the cost per mile is just $1.23 per mile, which is very good, and that's because you are owner operator and you do not
Right.
pay the driver. Like, no, I mean we still have a driver salary here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have it, but it's much lower than it average, like it usually is, and also you've paid way less on tolls on fuel than I usually see. Like now, what I usually see 70 cents per mile, 75 cents per mile. So basically, it's also something good. The cost per mile
How
is
much?
very good here.
How much it
Like
is?
70,
Cost per mile?
75 cents. For
Okay.
for the total summary of your company of your truck is
Okay.
just $1.23 per mile. Yeah,
All right. One truck. Okay. Sounds good.
that's very good because if we, as I mentioned, I'm right now I'm in others user's account. He allowed me to use his account for any kind of demonstrations, and I will be able to show you his cost per mile, and it is way worse than yours is. So really, like you have $1.23 per mile, and for his trucks, let me open one of them. I mean, I can pick any of them. I can pick Howard, for example, and for him, for a week, let me choose any. Oh yeah, for his week, for example, 46, the cost per mile is $2.55 per mile. You see
Dang.
here.
It's too high now.
Yeah, and
Way too high.
that's
Where do you think that comes from? That looks like a colossal truck payment.
that
Could
is
be.
he bought his truck when the market was high, and that was a
Yeah.
mistake. Now he is trying. You see, he is in a very very hard situation right now because he is trying to find drivers which will be willing to buy his trucks like in a lease to own option, right? But it is hard to find that type of drivers, and because of that, he sometimes has his trucks not operating, and that causes to even more losses because he has such huge fixed costs. And because of that, if the truck is not operating, he is running so much negative. So yeah, that's a problem which many people have, and most of people I know that bought the trucks in a high market, they went bankrupt. So this guy, he still manages to operate and even to make money. So yeah, that's a good example.
Luckily, truck prices are coming down, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
high about what, maybe 6 months ago. So they've come down since then. And Jose, I think you got into the market at a pretty good time 2 years ago. Was a good time to buy through.
No, I pay a lot of money though. They double up the price in that truck.
Yeah. Yeah, but even so,
Yeah.
I mean, I would say yours is pretty standard, even for today's market. You're going to be paying about $1,900 a month for in a truck payment. Power only was an interesting decision that you went, because then you don't have a trailer payment. But I wonder, is that truck insurance, is that including your trailer interchange insurance?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Amazon trailer, which is $80,000, so it's
Mhm.
kind of like an extra $300 one.
And do you?
Amazon and JB Hunt require you to have at least $80,000 coverage.
Right. And so you have to have that. That's an extra insurance cost. So if you did have a trailer and you could take that down, you would even have, less insurance, but you'd have a trailer payment. So that's, something to consider. I wonder, are there other costs to going power only that maybe are not reflected here because they're not dollar costs, or they're just time? Like maybe it seems like here power only is a great way to go. What would you caution people on if they go, whoa, this guy's making great money on a power only truck, I'm going to get into that? What are some things that you would caution people about with power only?
Well, first thing though, I'd say power only is a great way to begin. You learn and you know what exactly you want to do, because so many people want to go to a drive-on. Some people want to do reefers. Some others want to do flatbed. So that's a big difference between those three. Right. Sometimes there's more money than others, or there's less money. So it's really hard to. And in order for you to learn, you got to gamble. You got to gamble, see which one is better for you. Okay.
Right.
And the first thing you got to do, kind of study, man. What's in the market? Truck-wise, factoring companies, dispatching people. That's the most important thing. If you want to have a dispatcher, you must have a good dispatcher that care about you, not about your money. That's the main thing, though.
Right.
You can find any people that are calling you. I got like 20 calls every single day. Hey, you need a dispatcher? No, I don't. I got a 20 loads waiting for blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, man, I'm okay right now. But anyway, that's not the case. So that's the main things you got to focus on. And see what type of truck and what do you need it for. Sometimes when you're new in this market, though, kind of take whatever comes so you can learn and see what's the difference. If you can wait about a week for a good load, will never come. But as soon as you take off from that area, I bet you something is going to get there. That's one thing that I see lately. So those my advertising to people, kind of like just think about exactly what you're gonna do. You can go from there. Because when we're new, we don't know. We just see people making so much money. YouTubers make videos just to make money. Make you believe that they're making a lot of money. Oh, I make $20,000 in 1 week. Oh, I'm making $30,000 in 1 week. Okay, how do you do that? You don't know. You got a lucky, you got a $20,000 low 1 week, but you got to wait 2 weeks to get out of there. So that's the difference.
That's the problem. I mean, that's what gets clicks.
Yes.
Right. And they're not just making money off of trucking. They're making money off of their YouTube channel as well.
Exactly.
And so what's incentive? Like, think about it. Like, what are the incentives that this person has to be really hyperbolic and estimate what they're actually making? And if sure, someone might say, yeah, I made $14,000 this week. Okay, how much did they spend? And is that even a reliable number? Right? So
it's not real though. $14,000 in 1 week. If you work only 70 hours, which is legal, you're not gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make it with one truck. Unless you are under, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that, but there's a shortcut you can do in this business, though. But I'm not gonna throw myself in the bus.
That's true. If you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, that's not gonna be
legally doing whatever is legal. Is just whoever does whatever, just keep it yourself, man. Nobody should know about it.
For sure. Well, this was a great exercise. I hope that people got a lot out of it. Igor, to wrap us up on Trucker Calculator, will you give us a little bit of a taste of some of the other features that are on Trucker Calculator and let us know what else is in store on here for people that are going to go and try it out?
I have one question.
And I will be happy to do that.
Jose, do you want to ask your question before
I want to ask Igor. Igor, is that a way you can find about it? How much it costs you per day for not working your truck and this system?
You won't be able to tell it,
is that a way to see it
for a day, but for a week, yes, you will be able to review
How about
it.
a week? And then you can break that in 7 days. I mean, that's kind of great tool that we needed to know.
I mean, I have here I have a parameter of profit per day, and if you are running negative for a week in your statistics, it will show you how much negative you're running per day. I will be able to show it, like if I click this button, and here we have statistics of the company I mentioned already. So let's just review the selected period, and here we have our profit per day for each truck this guy has, and you can tell that some of them are really doing not that well. That's how you can tell if your trucks aren't operating, they're running negative. You can also, in statistics, you can review that. You can see specifically how much you are earning or losing a day for a specific week. For example, in this case, you can tell that for the week 45 was very bad for this truck. Something probably happened here, and the negative per day was like. And you should see that here we have working days, so that's the days which truck has operated, not just the total days of the week. And for that week, it was minus $1,400.
Yeah, so stopping operating on that day might have saved him money. No, that's
correct.
That was probably the agent's job, I imagine.
Probably,
okay, I have a question.
Put you out of business. Yeah.
So with this tool, do you have to subscribe to it or create a profile to use it? Because I went to statistics.
You have an option.
Okay, because I went
statistics.
to that. Yeah, it's
go ahead.
Create a profile, and I just wanted to kind of fiddle with it before I did that. Create a profile, and I wanted to know: do you have to create a profile to see the numbers?
You can do the calculation without creating a profile. You can see how it works. Again, it works pretty simple. It just the easiest way to calculate your costs is here in the calculator, and you can use it without the registration.
But I think to create
Regist
it, you need to create a profile. Is that right?
Well, for this, so I was able to use the calculator, but it says calculator units and statistics. I couldn't click statistics without creating a profile.
You'll have to, yeah, you'll have to create a profile.
Yes.
It doesn't, I don't think it costs you anything to create a profile, right, Igor?
It is free. It is completely free for now. We plan to switch to a paid subscription for larger fleets, but I really cannot tell when, because we plan to do it in January, but seems like it will be closer to February or March, because I won't be switching to paid subscription before we add a couple of more features to this website. And even when we switch to paid version, it will be free, like for all the time, for people with just one truck or with two trucks. So the paid subscription will start from 3 trucks, and it will be very, very affordable. Speaking of the features that we have right now, the only feature that you can use without registration is the calculator, but it is like very powerful tool itself. Like you can use it. You cannot waste your time and spend your time on creating Google Sheets, especially if you don't know how to build those formulas. But if you want to track your fleet here in the system, like this owner, his name is Vlad, by the way, but like he does, you will have to create a profile, and in order to review statistics, you will have to create a profile and consistently keep track of all the data in your units menu, because the numbers that I have here, they come from the units menu over here. So yes, you have to register to use all the features that we currently have.
Okay. And so for the cost per mile, you want that number to be as low as possible. Like Jose's was 133, and
Yes,
then the
yes.
example that you showed us was 258. So it needs to be as close to 50 or 60. Like what is an ideal cost per mile?
I think that's a really good question, but I think it depends on the type of trucking company you're running, right, Igor?
And on the type of the driver, because for owner operator, the cost per mile would be lower, of course. For the company driver, if you are a company owner and you have company drivers, the cost per mile would be higher. 60 cents per mile is something like not realistic at all. I would say an average for the company driver would be close to $2 per mile currently. But it, as Caroline mentioned, it depends. It depends a lot on the trailer type you have, on how much you pay to your driver, on basically on a lot of factors, on the expenses you have. But yes, you want to decrease that cost per mile, because that is your bottom line. And that means, like, the smaller it is, the easier for you is to make money and to get more net profit, right?
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, yes, you want to decrease your costs as much as you can without compromising sustainability, right? You need
Yes.
to be able to go in the long haul. So maybe, you can, reduce, I don't know, driver pay. But if your drivers keep leaving because they're getting a better job somewhere else, and you're not able to attract a good driver to stay
We
with
can
you.
also, yeah, we
then
can
you're
actually review some. We can review rate per mile and cost per mile comparison in statistics for this company. And as you can tell, like, the left is a rate per mile and the right is cost per mile. And right now we're comparing some trucks. As you can tell, that this owner has like close to an average between like his rate per mile and cost per mile, which is not good. It means that he is not making too much money. And also that means that, as you can tell, some of his trucks have a higher cost per mile than the rate per mile, and that means that he has some trucks running negative for the selected period that they've chosen. So speaking of the cost per mile, like in general, it is important to understand the benefits that it brings if you track it consistently, and if you try to lower this cost per mile. So basically, you should understand the cost per mile at least for setting targets for your dispatchers. It is the easiest way to use the cost per mile, because if you know that your cost per mile is $2, that means that your dispatcher just can't take loads that are paying less than $2 per mile. And
Right.
you can do a forecast as well. So for example, if you can do a forecast of which loads you should take to increase your to have the profit of like 25% of your gross. For example, you can calculate that by what's the word? I forgot. Like in Romanian, that's the sign, like X. Could you please help me?
Like
Uh,
no,
Times multiply.
yeah, you multiply.
stay
Exactly.
away?
I'm sorry for that.
Like, oh,
As I
okay.
mentioned, I'm getting slow. Forgive me for that.
No,
Yeah,
that's
but
okay.
you could take your cost per mile amount. Like let's imagine I actually prepared an example for that. Like let's imagine your cost per mile is $2.14 per mile, and you want your net profit would be 25% of the gross you made. And for that, you will have to first of all calculate what would be the amount of percent of income you want to get in the cent per mile by multiplying the cost per mile on the percent that you desire. And multiplying, let's say, $2.14 per mile and 25, you would get 58 cents per mile. And to get your target for a dispatcher, you should just summarize your cost per mile plus your desired additional amount. And that would be like $2.86 per mile. And by that simple calculation, you could see that to get desired net profit percent, you will need to take loads not smaller than $2.86 per mile.
Yeah, so I think more than a target of your cost per
Yes.
mile, like, oh, what is a good cost per mile? It's more important to know what it is now, find out ways that you might be able to improve it, and there is a limit, right? Fuel costs what it costs. There's not a ton you can do except maybe apply to the Bobtail Zero MasterCard and save some money on fuel, but. You can't, but there's not a lot that you can do to change the prices of diesel, right? There's not a lot that you can do to change the price of your insurance in the moment. But there are some things that you can do to change and reduce the cost of your insurance over time. Insurance is one of the biggest, probably the third biggest expense that for any truck, right? Driver pay, fuel, insurance, right? Those are the big three.
The same thing for not the same thing, but you should negotiate for the service with the service providers. For example, with dispatching service, it is something that it's realistic for sure, and that's something that you should do. Like you should not just say like 4% is okay. Try to lower it down.
Especially
yeah, for sure.
Market trends, talk to other people. We got to be more open about money in this industry, and I think in the world generally, because if we talk to more people about, so what are you getting and how are you getting it, and all of that, if we share that together, then we're more empowered to make better decisions. And I did mention, I do want to kind of double down though on the comment of, yes, we want to reduce our cost per mile as much as we can. But if you're really foregoing maintenance on your truck just to reduce the cost per mile, that's going to hurt you in the long run, right? Same with driver pay. If you have a driver that you like, that is really reliable, that is doing a really good job for your company, reducing their pay in the long run is going to hurt you, because they're going to leave and they're going to go to some of these private fleets that are growing their fleets right now. Walmart, Amazon, they're growing their private fleets. They're hiring more people. So you have to do what you can to retain your talent and keep up on maintenance on your trucks. And so there is going to be a limit to what you can do sustainably to reduce your cost per mile. And then once you get to that limit, it's what are the strategies that I can employ to book better loads, get better rates, and increase your gross revenue. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to close with that because it is already 10 minutes past the hour. I want to thank Igor so much and Jose for being so open and helping us to see a really realistic cost per mile and gross. Jose, you're doing an awesome job. Congratulations in this market. Performed
Thank you.
incredible.
And I guess all of us
two
just saw
things.
that these results are good.
But just two things you got to do, though. Work hard and look for the fuel cheap. Cheap
Yeah.
fuel.
Mhm.
Look for it. Trying to find the best prices out there. Like you just say, though, it's not going to go down. Price in the fuel is not going down, but
you can't choose, right?
do
So
have.
you can't control the price of fuel, but you can choose where you fuel. And that
Yeah.
also brings me to Veronica Blanco, who's going to talk to us about factoring. Berto, can you tell us what are some of the ways that a factoring service can help or hurt your cost per mile?
Very good question. Thank you, Caroline. And yes, we just talked about having control, right? What is it that we can control to lower our costs? And what is it that we want to do to protect our company? So being a carrier in this industry right now, it's very difficult because there's so many things that we're seeing are causing our company to be in jeopardy of either losing money or, not having enough, right? At the end of the month, if we're not taking care of the people that are working for us. So with Bobtail factoring, it's very important for us to keep our customers not just well informed through these workshops, for instance, but we make sure that it's a win-win situation. We only charge you to factor an invoice. We would never charge you any additional fees like many other factoring companies.
I'm sorry.
Very nice.
Okay,
All right, I think I lost
Yeah.
Berto.
What
Berto, are
happened?
you with us? Oh, there you are. We got
I'm
you.
here. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
here. Yes, I'm sorry. So I just want to let you guys know that we don't work with long-term contracts. We work with a 30-day agreement, which allows us, if you're a carrier, it allows you to try out our services without having that, that in your mind, at the end of the mind that, hey, I'm stuck in a long-term contract with someone. I don't even know if I'm going to be happy with this company. That is having control of your business. We don't charge you for any additional fees. We only charge you for whatever invoice you're going to factor. What the percentage is what we charge you. There are many companies out there charging you very high termination fees. They lock you to these long-term contracts. Before you know it, you end up married and you're not happy. You can't get out that easily. Another thing that is very important for us is to keep our customers happy. Our clients have a referral program that allows them to continue promoting our services by pretty much referring carriers that they know, and they make a reward from that. If you have a company and you work with carriers as well, you can become part of our affiliate program and also be part of our family through our affiliate partnership. Now, if you have any questions or you would like to learn more about factoring with us or affiliate program, you can reach out to that number directly on the screen, and we'll be more than happy to assist you with anything. Thank you so much for the time, Caroline.
Thank you so much. And I know
Thank
we're
you.
so far over our hour together. I do want to let you know, though, that if you have any questions at all about Trucker Calculator, please go over to TruckerCalculator.com and ask Igor. There's a little chat window where you can chat with him about any of the questions that you have about how to
And I
calculate.
must tell you that I answer all of those questions personally by myself. So you
It's
can,
literally you.
That was my next
yes,
question.
that's true.
Robot. Yeah.
That's not a robot. That's not anybody else. That's me. And I can tell you that I don't turn off those notifications. And sometimes at 3 a.m. I go to that. I get up at night because somebody sends a message to me.
That's dedication. Gerald,
That's
did you-
the approach that everyone should have. Like, I mean, I'm it's a startup after all, and I'm really trying to provide myself full of my dedication to this project. So yeah, trust me, go
That's
ahead to that website and try it. I've put a lot of my hard work to it.
know that for Bobtail as well, Alejandra and I are the ones answering your chat on the Bobtail website. So there is a real human behind that. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about Bobtail or our services, please reach out to us. We also would love to know what topics you would like to see in 2024. So if you have any topics that you want to learn more about that would be helpful to do a session on this, we can bring an expert in. Igor is our expert on cost per mile and financial metrics for trucking companies. We've asked this question before, and people have said compliance. They want to learn more about compliance and what ways they can save money and be safer. There are people that talked about a carrier packet, maybe a workshop on how to create a nice looking carrier packet. If that's helpful, let us know in the chat. We've also done workshops on how to get better rates, so how to negotiate with brokers and work with brokers. We actually brought a broker in on that conversation, though that is recorded and available to you on YouTube. We've also done events on how to avoid double brokered loads. So definitely go check those out. Those are really important skills to learn and good information in there. So check them out on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. Again, reach out to us if you have any questions. You can always reach us at hello@bobtail.com. Again, I'm the human behind that inbox, so anything you get from there is going to be yours truly. But you can always call us or write to us or sign up to learn more about Bobtail on our website.